What is going on, YouTube people? Neo Cards and Comics here. Today's the day. It's the first day of the National. As you are firing up this video, I am probably standing in line or on my way to the convention center to get a ticket. Traveling to Philadelphia Wednesday evening, getting up Thursday morning, driving on into Atlantic City, and hope to hit the show floor right around when the show opens. I might actually wait just a little bit past to avoid, the morning lines or whatever, but it's whatever. Sometime early in the morning, within the first hour or two of this video posting, I will be on the show floor. I am recording this Tuesday evening, so if anything crazy happens, don't be alarmed. I just kind of wanted to talk about what I'm bringing, what kind of I'm looking for, just general plans for this upcoming National. Content-wise, I have no idea what it's going to look like. I'm not a vlogger, so you're not going to see vlog style footage out of me. Maybe I'll throw up a YouTube short or an Instagram reel or something like that on occasion, but you're not going to see vlog style footage. That's just not my thing. The plan is at least daily recaps, post in the morning. Maybe, I really don't know. You guys and girls might just see videos posted wild times. Some crazy news thing happens. It might be a little bit slower getting up. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Thursday at the show, obviously show floor all day. Card Collector 2 trade night Thursday night. So Thursday is probably going to be a very long day. Friday, show floor. Don't have set plans for Friday night. I have plans. I just don't know where I'm going yet. There's an eBay thing with the Card Talk Pod guys. Filmington's having a thing. I would like to try to get to both those, if not one or the other, and then God knows from there. If anyone is at the National, pop-up trade nights fire up. Feel free to slide into the DMs. It's going to be a little weird this year. Everyone's spread out. And hotel security, as Flipping Steve's talked about, is no joke in the casino town. So the odds of lobby takeovers are slim to none. I have a feeling it's going to be smaller, micro trade nights, other than maybe at the Sheridan, which is right by the convention center and it doesn't have the casino focus. Saturday night, show floor. Saturday night, still a little loosey-goosey on plans. I believe I have a dinner on Saturday night to go to. And then after that, who knows? Sunday, I may or may not hit the show floor. What am I taking with me? What am I looking for? Let's run through what I'm taking with me first. A decent amount of football. I am not taking much basketball with me. This really is not a good time to be moving basketball, in my opinion. You want to be looking for basketball. Basketball will be one of the things higher on my radar in regards to what I am looking for. I'm not going to necessarily talk specific cards per se, but let's just kind of go into what I'm bringing. The main things that I'm bringing is a lot of football. The biggest card that I'm probably bringing is the co-signers, Moss Rice. Not 100% sure what I want to do with this yet still. Either use it as a major trade chip to something pretty big, or potentially straight sell it if the right offer come along. I think I'm at about 3K on this, at least for an asking price. The last raw comp is 1,500, but the Moss auto was smudged pretty good. This one, that's not the case. BGS 9.5 lasted 5.5K, and a PSA 10 lasted 6.5K. So those are the last three comps on it: a raw, a BGS 9.5, and a PSA 10. So my asking price is 3K. I don't think I'll get that, but that's my asking price. We'll see what happens. But I do think it's probably around 2.5-ish to 3K, just kind of depending. They're super rare. They don't come up that often. I don't even know if there's one listed on eBay right now for sale. I'm going to be picky with this on what I do with it. I'm not desperate to move it, but it is one of my bigger chips in regards to getting a deal done. If I was to trade this, it would have to be for equally significant card. And what I mean by that is like something rock solid. A Bird Magic rookie, a LeBron auto, stuff like that. I wouldn't even probably move it for like a LeBron Topps Chrome PSA 9 or something. I don't want something super common like that for it, but that's my biggest trade chip that's coming with me by far. I also have on the football side of things, these are in really no particular order. Oh, the legendary Baker Mayfield Flawless. Quick story time on this one. This sold. I sold it on eBay. This is the one that I did the story on, that I shipped the wrong cards to the wrong people. Needless to say, when I got the cards back, the Juan Soto guy still wanted the Juan Soto, of course, because it had gone up $200 in comps in the meantime of all the shipping shenanigans. So I sent that off to him, and the guy that bought the Baker on eBay totally flaked on me. It was annoying. I had a feeling it was going to be coming. I just wish the guy would have told me right away, because I purposely held the card back for 48 hours just in case, because it was a weekend. I was like, hey, Could you, if you're gonna ghost me, but at least like, can you tell me like, hey, I'm not buying this again, just so I know, so I could relist the card at a reasonable price. So this is going with me. I would obviously like to move this there, either trade or cash. Value on this is probably between 12 and 1500. I sold it for 1300 is what I got it for. So probably somewhere in that range. I'll probably take a little less cash for it depending. But that's going with me. The Baker booklet is going with me. Those are going for around 250. Also on the football front, and my goal is to come home with no football, unless it's the Rice Moss. You know, if it's something like this, Hall of Famer wise, I'm fine coming home with that. I still have the Herbert Blue Scope. That's going with me. Burrow Orange Disco, or just Disco. And I have a Baker Optic Hollow PSA 10. I might actually hold on to that one. I kind of want one Baker just to kind of ride or die. Baseball wise, I am taking quite a bit of baseball. And this isn't everything that I'm bringing. This is just kind of like the nicer stuff. I'm bringing the Nolan Ryan auto. I would potentially move this in the right deal. I don't even remember what I paid for this. Probably be at like $350 on it. I have this Accurately BGS 9.5 with a 10 auto. I got this just dirt cheap. So I'd be willing to move this pretty easily as well. So I figured I'd throw that in there. You never know. At the National, that's where stuff like that moves. Just a random Devers refractor. I have this Tatis Purple refractor. I might actually hold on to this until he comes back. Vlad X refractor. And then one basketball card that I am bringing is a Garland Blue Disco. Just to have a little bit of basketball in the case. I really don't want to move Garland, but I have a ton of Garland already. So I'm willing to move off of that one if need be. Maybe even for another or different Garland. And then on the non-sports card side, I am bringing some Marvel stuff with me. I have a Royal Foil Black Cat. Great looking card. I have the Ultimate Spider-Man Achievement card. I think I'm actually going to leave this one at home now that I think about it. I really like this card. PSA 8 Miles Bronze. My Scarlet Witch PSA 10 Rainbow Achievement. Great looking card. And then I'm bringing the Griffies with me. The SGC, or the CSG 9 and the PSA 9. I'd be perfectly fine coming home with both these. I'd be perfectly fine just coming home with the CSG and moving the PSA. I kind of need to figure out where I want to be at price-wise on this. One thing that I'll do tomorrow night, Wednesday night, in the hotel room, in the pad. It gets weird when you record these things ahead of time. Wednesday evening before the show floor, obviously that's already happened. One of my projects is the night before the National is to price everything. I just simply get these little generic Avery price stickers. I write the price down and I just stick it on the back of the card. And let me tell you, it's a huge time saver. Even though I'm not a dealer, I'm just setting up at trade night or walking the show floor or whatever. Saved me a ton of time last year. Price your stuff. Time is extremely limited and valuable at these things, and it goes fast. And you don't want to get bogged down looking up comps. And then the other thing too, like Chicago, the internet was great. I didn't know that going in. I don't know what it's going to be like here. I assume it's going to be fine, but you never know. So to at least know that I feel confident in what the recent comp is on that car without having to even pull out my phone saved so much time on deals. I highly recommend that you do that if you're going to any trade night at a decent sized show. Especially if you only have a handful of cards and you can just keep them all in your head, great. But it was just really easy to put the prices on the back. And people appreciated it. When they would flip through my case, they'd be like, where are you at on this? And I'm like, prices are all on the back. And they were like, oh, cool. And as long as you're pricing accurately and correctly, don't be a freaking idiot. Price at whatever the most recent comps are. I just basically put the most recent comp on there and said, that's the most recent comp. You know, obviously cash, I would be able to do better than that on it. Because if I can't do better on it, I'm not putting it in my case and bringing it with me. Unless it's an ultra rare card, someone's not going to come over the top with a huge offer. Not in this market. It's not, you know, a year ago or 2 years ago where that stuff would fly. You have to be priced correctly. So if you're not willing to price at current prices, don't waste people's time with it, especially at a trade night like this. Unless it's something super rare, you know, and it's one of those things, that's fine. But if we're just talking about like the stuff that I just rolled through here, other than maybe the cosigners, like the cosigners, 3K is probably a little high on this, but I don't care. I mean, go find another one. Go ahead. I'll wait. You know what I mean? It's kind of one of those situations. But a Blue Scope Herbert, whatever the most recent comp is on that, that's going to be my price on this. It is what it is. You know, if I'm down, if I'm up on it, I don't really care. I just know I don't want to be bringing ultra modern football home with me, which I have a feeling I'm not the only one. One of the big things that I'm interested in is everyone's been talking about get football for the national, get football for the national. Everyone wants football at the national. Now, last year, everybody did want football at the national. It was the hottest thing by far. Will that still be the case when everyone is there looking to dump football? I don't know. Personally, in regards to what I'm going to be looking for, I have one main card that I am looking for. I had two initially. One I ended up buying prior to the national starting. That's the Pedro Pascal auto in the back. That was the number one card that I was looking for at this upcoming national. It popped up on Facebook a month ago. Those things never come up. Snapped it up immediately. Didn't even hesitate. Didn't care. The second card that I'm looking for is in the same vein as that. It is either a 2018 or 2020 Harrison Ford Star Wars Stellar Signatures on-card auto. I would settle for a 2019, but I'll wait for a 2019. I know Dan the Great Curator has a 2019. I'm not a fan of that image. I could have bought one actually about a week ago. I passed, and he sold it right after I passed on it. It was a raw one. Immediately had FOMO that I just didn't buy it. I might really be kicking myself by the time the weekend's over, but that card is on my radar. I would also not hesitate to buy another Pedro auto if priced correctly. Those are the two big cards on my radar. I've always wanted Harrison Ford, Han Solo on-card auto. I really like the image on 2018 and 2020. That's the main card on my list that I am looking for that I will not hesitate to pay cash for. Once again, if priced correctly. There's plenty of comps on that card, so it's not like they're rare, but they're not like super rare. He signs a decent amount, all things considered. But I just feel like that's an iconic card. I love Harrison Ford in a million different things. To me, Han Solo is his iconic role, along with Indy. I would really take either one, but there's not Indy cards. At least there probably is, but not that I'm aware of. But that's really high on my list. I'm also going to be looking at basketball, ultra modern, and I don't know if I'm going to be looking at the big names. I would take a peek at some Zion stuff and trade. I don't think I want to spend cash on it. But I think I'm going to be looking at more scrap heap guys. You know, I kind of talked about it a couple weeks ago when I picked up the Obi Toppin. I think I'm going to be looking at stuff like this. Maybe not necessarily Toppin specifically, but guys like him. Colin Sexton, Michael Porter Jr. There's a few others that I have bouncing around in my head. But I kind of want these forgotten about scrap heap guys. Maybe a little Jamal Murray, though his stuff is priced fairly correctly, I think, last I looked. But I really want to look at these under the radar guys. I don't want guys that have a bunch of stuff baked into them already. I would consider getting more Trae Young. I have a lot of Trae Young already, but his stuff has come way down and is really cheap. So I potentially look for Trae Young stuff. Like I said, Zion, if the price was right, that would be more of a quick flip thing. I would also look at Tatum stuff. I think his stuff has come down, kind of overcorrected to a degree. It is starting to bounce back up again, so I might have missed the window on that. But I don't want to be chasing guys that have a ton of hype behind it. I really don't want to be trading into like Anthony Edwards. I might even look at Luka. His prices have come down quite a bit. Yeah, his Optic Hollow 9s are like $400 now. I have one left still that I'm slightly underwater on. It is what it is. And then I would obviously look at like LeBron stuff. And then on a vintage side, not vintage, but like older stuff, I would obviously always look at 58 Jim Browns. I wouldn't mind a Bird Magic rookie at some point in time. It's not a high priority list because that card's not that rare, especially in the grade that I'd be looking at. One card that's also pretty high on my radar that I wouldn't mind coming home with is a Michael Jordan Scoring Kings from Fleer Ultra. I've always wanted that card. I'd probably be looking at like a PSA 8. Maybe I don't think I want to pay a PSA 9 price. I just kind of want one to have one. I don't need it to be in the best shape in the world. That was a card that one of my friends, when I was a kid collecting cards, he pack pulled one back when that stuff was on the shelf. And I just remember always being in awe of that card. All of us were, that he had it. Because I remember in Beckett back in the day, it was like $60 or $100 or something. And we were all just like, oh my God, that's a $100 card. It was just like insane to us. And I always really, really wanted one. There was one at Card Collector 2 trade, I think a PSA 7 that I passed on and I regretted it. One of my other friends was in the process of making a deal on it. I didn't want to step on any toes. If he walked away, I was going to swoop in. But so that's another card that's on my list. And then just if I run into a deal on something catches my eye, I'm always looking at Topps Dynasty stuff. You know, I'm a sucker for the Hall of Fame on card autos and stuff like this. I'd be looking at more Jose Ramirez dynasty stuff. I'm actually taking this Clemens with me. If I could move it for the right price, I would move it. I got a pretty good deal on this compared to what they sell for with him in a Red Sox uniform. And with this being in Atlantic City, probably a decent chance there's a lot of Boston people there. So I'll bring this as some trade bait. This is not one I'm desperate to move. And I'm traveling later this year. And I have more stuff than this. But I'm not bringing the whole 9 yards. The stuff that I'm not bringing, throw it in the vault, forget about it till I get back. Last year, I brought most of my stuff with me. I'm just trying to travel a little bit lighter this year. I'm still going to have my backpack most of the days. But yeah, and I'll be looking at some other non-sports cards. I wouldn't mind looking at some Marvel stuff. I would look at more. I really like actor autos. Like I have the Hugh Jackman. That's not coming with me most likely, or if it is, it won't be in the trade pile. There's some Game of Thrones autos I wouldn't mind taking a look at. Those are typically pretty reasonably priced. I just really like the show. I wouldn't mind having some stuff from it. I am very interested to see the non-sports card presence. Say what you will, the whole Marvel PMG thing. I get it. I pump and I understand. I get it. We talked about it a ton. But I do think it was the year of non-sports cards. Star Wars cards, Marvel, music cards, Harry Potter, Game of Thrones. I mean, pick your thing. They all kind of had their moment for a hot minute. And I'm very curious to see the non-sports card presence at this show and how that stuff is moving. So that's something in terms of things that I am keeping my eyes and ears open for, is that aspect of it. I'm curious to see what slabs are in cases. Is it still predominantly PSA and BGS with SGC mixed in? Does SGC have much more of a larger presence? What's CSG's presence on the show floor in regards to slabs and cases? The other grading companies, sorry, boys and girls, I don't really think matter. I'm sure there'll probably be some HGA slabs there. I don't care. There'll probably be some other random pop-up grading companies there. I don't really care. To me, it just really does not add value to the card. And if I was looking at them, it would be to immediately crack it and do something else with it. I don't plan on doing any on-site grading. I kind of talked about that in Monday's video. But if I run into something, I wouldn't say no if it makes sense to do it while I'm at the show. But waiting in line is not really my thing. There's one autograph that I need to wait in line for on Saturday for a friend of the family to get a Reggie Jackson auto, actually. So I need to knock that out on Saturday afternoon. But other than that, I'll be roaming the show floor all 3 days. I could potentially go to the show floor on Sunday, but we'll see. I feel more chaotic this year. Last year, I had a very set list of stuff that I was looking for. I have a couple cards that I'm specifically looking for, like we talked about, but I don't have a super deep list, not like last year. And the card market's in a different place. I'm being more choosy. I'm into a lot of other things right now too. You know what I mean? When it comes to money, I'm looking at more sealed Magic product potentially very soon. I'm still actively buying a lot of comic books and, obviously a lot of sports cards as well, but I have been trying to diversify more. So that's all in the back of my mind. I have a budget that I'm taking with me. I have access to additional funds if I need it. We'll see what happens. Plus, I have all this as stuff that I would like to move, potentially sell, potentially trade. We'll kind of see what happens. But I don't know. Regardless, I am going to have a fun time. I hope. I should. I could come home. Honestly, I could go there and not come home with a single card, and probably I'm going to have a fantastic time. I'm excited to see my friends. I'm excited to see Steve, Dustin, Filmington, Sam, all the usual suspects of friends that I've made through the content creation side of things. I'm excited to meet viewers of the channel that I have never met before, and ones that I have met at previous nationals or other events now. The more and more I do this, the more and more I run into people across the country and different things. I was at the Midwest Monster or a trade night somewhere or whatever. So if you see me, please don't hesitate to come up and say hi. Please, 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 please don't be offended if we've met before at like last year's national and I don't put a name with a face. I am terrible with names. Terrible with names. And it's so confusing. Another content creator was talking on Twitter the other day about anxiety around, keeping track of everybody and who's who. And it's so tricky because there's people's, what their actual names are. So they'll come up and be like, hey, I'm Mike. And this is no offense to anybody at all. And I'll be like, okay, cool. And then they'll be like, oh, I'm so-and-so on IG. And then I'll be like, oh, okay. Or I'm so-and-so in the YouTube comments, or their real name is one thing, their IG name is a different thing, and then their YouTube commenter name is a completely different thing. And like my brain trying to merge all that together is super confusing. I'll usually recognize faces. I just might not remember your name. So sorry. Pre-apologizing now. But that's the penance I pay as a content creator, which is perfectly fine. But yeah, for sure. If you see me, absolutely come up, say hello. Do not be afraid. If I look busy, if I'm just, the only thing I ask is if I'm middle of a deal, just wait for me to finish. That should be common courtesy, regardless of what you're doing. Just general national tip: never interrupt a deal that's going on. Don't ask a question. Don't butt in. Don't give your 2 cents. Don't try to steal the deal. Just let it play out. If it's card, I've sat there and watched. There's been cards in cases, not necessarily at the national, just in general, shows or trade nights. There's a card that I really want. Someone is working a deal for it, and I just kind of lurk and watch and pray that the deal doesn't happen. Don't butt in and be like, oh, well, I do 2,200 on that if he'll only do 2. Let them do their thing. It's called etiquette, people. Card show etiquette. Let them do their thing. If they close a deal and you don't get a shot at it, so be it. If they don't, they walk away. Step right up. You're the next batter in the batter's box. Take a swing, buddy. Other than that, if you're attending the National, like I said, stop by, say hello. If you're not attending the National, don't FOMO. I get it. I get it. I preach about FOMO all the time. I get it too. I 100% do. I had major FOMO about the Mint Collective missing out on that. But the sports card world does not stop. There are still plays to be made. You might get good deals on eBay auctions that are ending Thursday night because everybody's at trade night not looking at their phone. PWCC weeklies on Sunday might be a little bit light because everyone's wiped out from the National. I have a feeling there will be buying opportunities to be made online, especially at auctions. So scour the eBay auctions, check out my slabs, and check Twitter and Facebook groups. People will absolutely be selling at the show online. So if there's a rare card that you want, put feelers out there. Say, hey, find this for me. I'll pay you a 5% finder's fee or whatever. I'll slip you $50 on a $1,000 card if you could track this down, if it's something super rare. There will also be people, I'm sure there'll be people live on Whatnot, IG, posting on Facebook, whatever, trying to move stuff at the show because they're going to want cash to free up. So 100% people will be trying to buy at the show and flip it online. There's going to be deals to be had out there even if you can't attend the show. So don't FOMO too much for it. And if you are going to have a good time, if this is your first National, socialize as much as possible. Make some friends. It's a great time. Even if you don't, like I said, I could come back and not buy a single card, and I'm going to be feeling great about it. So those are my words of wisdom for the whole one National that I've attended. So take that with a grain of salt, if you will. But my one pro tip is price your stuff. Makes trade nights a lot easier for everybody. Hope to see you this weekend at the National. If not, we'll see you when we see you online. Maybe we'll try to do a random live stream. Me and Steve are staying in the same hotel. So maybe me and Flipping Steve will pop on and try to do a live at some point in time. I don't know. Like I said, it's probably going to be pure chaos once Thursday morning starts for me. But that's the fun of it. Catch guys and girls. I don't know when the next one is, but we'll catch you sometime over the weekend. Hope to see you in Atlantic City. Peace.